Hi, today is October the 4th of 2009. In this program, I'm going to talk about the New World Order and mind control. This program will be divided in 3 parts. In the first part of this program, I will talk about mind control definition and history. In the second part of this program, I will give you information about mind control techniques and technology. Finally, in the third part of this program, I will share with you my views about mind control purposes and risks. For technical reasons, this program will be divided in 2 equal periods of time. You are now watching the first half. Most people think that mind control and mind programming is a science fiction concept, like in the Matrix movie. Most of us think that our free will and ability to think by ourselves can't be bent easily without us noticing. Well, the point I would like to make as an introduction is that we all have been submitted to mind control techniques for years. The conscious part of our mind is like the visible part of an iceberg. Most of our mind is unconscious or subconscious. We are unaware of it, but it is largely influencing our thoughts, thinking patterns, and choices. The mind control techniques usually have indirect effects on us because we feel that we think and decide by ourselves when in fact we are unconsciously influenced. Let me take an example. Let's imagine a special diet in which a regular person would be forced to gain 50 pounds over a very short period of time. This person would notice it. He or she would feel it's unbearable and would like to do something about it. Now, if you have some time ahead, you could consider adding some ingredients to the regular meals of the same person so that he or she would gain a very small portion of these 50 pounds every day. Over the long term, he or she will eventually gain the 50 pounds, but the person would get used to the gradual changes implied. The 2 benefits would be that the person would be less likely to identify the source of the problem and less able to realize how much his or her situation has worsened over the time. It's pretty much the same with mind control. Day by day by day, new layers of mind control messages are piling up in our minds, so our opinions and thinking patterns get altered. Let's get started with part 1 and the mind control definition and history. Mind control is the ability of a person or thing to have manipulativity over another. Programming is the imprinting and compartmentalization of a thought process or mind pattern for specific purposes. The modern history of mind control starts with the Nazis. Among other things, they were doing research in order to mind control the population of the defeated countries. They conducted different experiments, torturing people, in order to reprogram their thinking pattern and alter their behaviors. With the Nazis' defeat, a skilled labor force of thousands of German technicians and engineers lost their career. The US government set up the paperclip operation. They brought over many of these Nazi scientists undercover so that the Soviets wouldn't have them. The CIA started the MK Ultra project. Over the time, they moved from using drugs and electric shocks to more elaborate techniques. They programmed sex slaves to serve and blackmail government officials, spies whose mind would have tape recording abilities, killers in demand, etc. Eventually, some information started to leak and it brought up congressional hearings. MK Ultra was stopped and its archives destroyed, but other programs conducted by different federal agencies have been going on until today. Another solution the US government found was to outsource these black experiments. They have been using cults as spin-offs. Many high-ranking government officials belong to cults, which gives them the opportunity to have mind control techniques tested in the shadow out of the public opinion potential scrutiny. The Church of Satan in the US is one good example. The title of this program mentions the New World Order. The point here is not to explain in much detail what the New World Order is actually referring to, but if you would like some more information about it, you can watch it on YouTube or Dailymotion. You could, for example, watch a video called The New World Order or The Reign of the Aliens. Towards the implementation of their New World Order, a very important milestone of the world secret elite is the Global 2000. In their hidden agenda, this refers to their goal to establish their control over the world natural resources, institution, money, and people. Regarding the control of people, this implies controlling people's mind. For that purpose, most people have been submitted to generic mind control techniques, and a small percentage of the population has been submitted to specific programming. Since we are in 2009, you may think that they are running late, but actually they are not, and we will see in part 2 how this relates to mind control techniques. Please note that not everybody is equally sensitive to mind control techniques, and that one could have been submitted to mind control without being activated yet. Allow me a metaphor. Before activation, mind control would be like a recessive gene in your DNA. It doesn't express itself. After activation, it would turn into a dominant gene in your DNA, which would express itself and potentially imply change for the entire body. Let's move to part 2, mind control techniques and technology. There are many techniques, and I will only be able to mention a few. The main media are owned by people who serve the interests of the New World Order. Have you noticed that the main news channel you often see on the main news channel you often see the same pictures and the same topics? Ever since the Watergate, the New World Order has decided to use storytelling. They decide every day what the media will talk about and what the media will not talk about. And it has nothing to do with party lines. If you control the opinion leaders, the other will follow. They foster drama, emotional stories, zapping and flash news with no background analysis or explanations. Their goal is to have people feel sympathy, anger, or fear instead of thinking. They want the viewers to be confused and have a reduced attention span and no critical mind. Like for advertising, repetition makes people remember of the message. The New World Order is also controlling the entertainment industry because it indirectly conveys values and ideas. They hire story writers and movie directors who promote the values and ideas serving the secret elite interests. Subliminal messages are inserted in movies, soap operas, and songs. Because it is subliminal, your conscious mind is unaware of it. The music you hear on radio is full of these messages, and we hear them at home, in shops, in our car, and sometimes even at work. Any artist who wants to be famous and rise has to accept that his recorded music gets bagged with these subliminal messages, which are often satanic. This is the end of the first of this program. Please watch the second half.